Welcome to Electrified. My name is Dylan Loomis, and today we'll cover some Tesla news. Hopefully this video finds you having a great week. Getting right into things, I wanted to pick out an article in one paragraph in particular that kind of shows the media reporting nowadays. I actually considered a whole episode just roasting some of these articles and showing why they are truly just sensational and clickbait more often than not, but I don't want to give them more attention than they deserve. So this one that I will cover, it's not terrible, but the headline is,
Billionaire investor Mario Gabelli explains problem with Tesla stock.
So the paragraph that I want to point out is this.
An analysis by Fortune found that in order for Tesla to justify its heightened valuation, it would need to generate $204 billion in annual revenue by 2030, which would amount to 3.5 million EVs sold at $58K each. Last year, the company reported $24.6 billion in revenue and didn't turn a profit.
Hopefully you guys liked my dramatic reading. But let's just break this down. Okay, so I have no idea what type of DCF model they're using for their valuation, but simply if we look at Tesla's sales projection chart, this is actually less than the 50% year-over-year CAGR that Elon has mentioned. If you're not familiar, CAGR is compound annual growth rate, and Elon said basically it'll be between 40 and 50%. Taking a look at this chart, by 2030, we are expecting roughly 20 million Teslas sold. Now, no, this is not cumulative, this is annual. And as I said, if you do the math, in this part of the curve, we have roughly 40 to 50% CAGRs, and up here, it is slowed down to between 20 and 30% CAGRs. So if you do the math and take 20 million cars sold times a, we'll say $40,000 average sale price as the trends continue to shift toward Model 3 and Model Y, but there will still be Cybertruck and Model S X Plaid, etc., you get $800 billion in revenue. And guys, this is not including any other revenue. No software as a service, no energy revenue, etc. And so if your article is centered around this being the problem, you already have an issue. And I bring this up because as there's more and more Tesla coverage, it's important for us to discern the good information from the bad, and there is plenty of bad. So just take everything with a grain of salt, do your research, and think logically about everything that is being said. Moving on, there was also some news about Baillie Gifford cutting their size of Tesla exposure in their portfolio. This is a non-starter. They're just doing it because of portfolio restrictions. Their share of Tesla had exceeded their 5% limit, so they cut it down from 6.3% back down to 5% to stay in line with their fund regulations. They had nothing but glowing things to say about the company, and one paragraph I did want to highlight. We are privileged to have been Tesla's largest external shareholder over a critical period for the development of the company. We're immensely grateful for the extraordinary efforts and achievements of Tesla in driving forward a transportation and energy revolution in the face of persistent skepticism and often downright hostility. Without Tesla's efforts, the possibility of averting climate disaster would have been significantly reduced. So, very nice to hear. Tesla's largest external shareholder has nothing but glowing things to say. They will continue to be long-term investors. They also mentioned if there was a dip in the stock price, they would be happy to add more. A quick note on the biggest battery in the world situation. Tesla apparently no longer holds that title as a new company, LS Power, now has a 250 megawatt energy storage project in California using LG Chem batteries that is now in use. Naturally, the article didn't cover anything really about LS Power or these LG Chem batteries. It just focused on taking the title from Tesla, but LS Power is a development, investment, and operating company focused on power generation, electric transmission, and energy infrastructure. We partner with communities across North America to create lower-cost, cleaner energy solutions. And this is great news. Obviously, the title of biggest battery in the world is cool and all, but ultimately, the goal is to transition the world to sustainable energy, and this is what's happening as other companies are in the game and apparently doing something that can compete with what Tesla's doing to have won this project contract. If you guys want to learn more about LS Power, just let me know. We got some photos of Elon over in Germany this week, and I had to share this one as I love the t-shirt. A picture of the broken glass from the Cybertruck reveal. I mean, you love to see this kind of thing. So rock on, Elon, keep doing you. I did want to take a moment to talk about Lucid Air. So haven't talked much about it yet, but they apparently just ran a 9.9-second quarter mile, which is incredible. So if you are not familiar, Tesla's fastest time was the Model S Performance with ludicrous mode, and they ran a 10.45. Now this was with a rolling start, and they have an NA for a standing start time. So in the video, it's tough to tell. It looks like the Lucid run was a standing start, which if that's the case, even more impressive. But either way, Lucid is now the only electric sedan able to achieve a quarter mile time under 10 seconds. So Peter Rawlinson, the CEO at Lucid Motors, did indeed work at Tesla as the vice president and chief engineer for the Model S back from 2009 to 2012. They will be revealing this car and more information September 9th on 9/9, which is pretty cool, read between the lines stuff, just like Tesla and Elon like to do. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention that, of course, this car is not yet in production. Making a one-off car like this is so much easier than making cars like this at scale. So only time will tell if Lucid is able to bring this type of performance into the market at a reasonable price at scale. They are said to be starting deliveries in 2021, so right around the corner. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on. And if you're not familiar, Lucid is in the luxury space. We're talking probably $150,000 of an average sale price. So not actually a direct competitor with any Tesla current vehicles. Perhaps the Roadster 2.0 would be a better comparison than the Model S, but really they are in that higher end luxury market closer to the Porsche Taycan. I personally am rooting for Lucid. Peter Rawlinson seems like a cool cat and they seem to have some great technology, and the more competition the better for us as the consumer and for Tesla and Elon. And so I have to say, if Lucid can produce a car under $150,000 that goes 0 to 60 2.5, that has over 500 miles of range, and can add roughly 300 miles of charge in 20 minutes with a luxurious, spacious interior, that would be a great offering. But as I said, only time will tell. A quick news item, apparently Audi will be lending about 400 employees to Porsche for the next 2 years to build more Porsche Taycans. Due to the demand that has been continually increasing, their initial projections were 20,000 units a year, but they have bumped that up to 40,000 units per year, which shows there is indeed apparently demand for that premium EV market that Porsche Taycan is kind of playing in a league by themselves right now. So hopefully Lucid can jump into that space and see some success as well. Looking at some data from EV sales, we see that so far through July in 2020, the Model 3 is, as we know, dominating worldwide global EV sales, with the Renault Zoe in second place, but this could be somewhat of a flash in the pan situation with incentives for Renault. But I bring this up to show you that the Model Y, which has only entered production recently, is already up to almost 21,000 year-to-date sales and is now third on the list for July. It is reasonable to expect the Model Y to shoot to the top of this list sometime over the next 12 to 24 months. Kelvin Yang on Twitter shared a Chinese article with regard to the Model Y production facility in Shanghai. So I went ahead and translated it. And the one part I wanted to highlight is where it says, the environmental impact report shows that the planning of the new model's early startup, talking about the Y, has been carried out and passed the review of the Shanghai Environmental Protection Bureau. The estimated construction period is 6 months and the completion time is March 2021, but the total investment of the project is not disclosed. So it's tough to surmise what they mean when they talk about completion, but all we really know is that we will probably see Model Y test production here in the next few months, with delivery starting sometime in Q1 2021. And wrapping it up for today, Reuters had an article talking about Tesla Energy in Germany, saying that Tesla has recently acquired a license that will enable the car maker to trade electricity across Western Europe, and the company has also been surveying customers in Germany about potentially using Tesla electricity in their cars. So I did an episode a few weeks back about Tesla's auto bidder that I linked below if you want to learn more about this. But this is a big deal in the long term because the energy industry, from what I understand over there in Germany, is ripe for disruption, as many utilities over there are trying to wean the country off fossil fuels and nuclear power, which has financially crippled some of these utility companies. Germany's energy regulator said any new player that can guarantee a stable supply of energy for end customers that meets operational conditions and that notifies the regulator is eligible to enter the market. Adding, to trade wholesale energy, licenses and hardware can be acquired, according to Barbara Lemp, managing director at the German arm of traders lobby EFET. And as we just heard, Tesla has indeed recently acquired said license. Tesla is selling solar panels and power walls for use on homes, but now they're actually looking to sell the electricity directly to the customer. They've been sending out surveys asking what would encourage you to switch from your existing energy supplier, asking would you buy a Tesla photovoltaic system and home storage if you could switch to a specially designed Tesla electricity tariff. A thread to follow for sure, and it would be nice at some point to see some real growth from the Tesla energy business, just so these analysts and the rest of the public can actually understand that yes, Tesla energy does have the potential to rival the auto business. Of course, right now may not be the best time to do so, as Tesla has a myriad of other things to focus their energy and efforts on. But at least from a public perception standpoint, which ultimately doesn't matter, but would still be nice, once the Tesla energy business starts to see some real growth, then people can start to understand the potential of Tesla outside of just the automotive space. And I do think this is important because it would help people to understand why the valuation is what it is, but I digress. That'll wrap it up for today's episode of Tesla News. Please take a moment to like the video if you did. Consider subscribing for more Tesla content. You can support us on Patreon for as little as $3 a month to support non-sensational Tesla news. But I really appreciate you watching this long. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next episode.